So I've mentioned on here before that I've been shot. I'm not going to go into details of the how, what, when, why of that because it doesn't really matter and it just doesn't. So, what is it like to get shot? This is a more interesting question. I'd like to say first off that every time I was ever shot, I was never hitting a bone. And I think that would change things considerably. Uh, in addition to that, I am not normal, as you might imagine. So take this with a grain of salt. I had a fucked up childhood and I process adrenaline much differently than your average person, I think. This is what it was like when I got shot. I didn't know what had happened. All I knew was that a loud noise had happened and I didn't even feel pain. I looked all around me to try to figure out what the fuck had just happened and I saw blood coming out of my side and I saw the guy with the gun and all of that shit. It it didn't even occur to me that I was the one that was shot. Okay? Once that altercation was over, I still wasn't in pain. This is the effect that adrenaline has. My gunshot wound did not hurt for a full day, basically. I was jacked up on adrenaline like fucking Mountain Dew. So, with that being, in mind, if you shoot somebody, what are the odds that, that happens? I don't know. But that wasn't what the guy who shot me expected. Okay? And it's one of those that he was in close proximity to me and I took that gun from him and beat the fuck out of him with it. I don't even know if that dude is alive or dead. I don't know what country he was in either. Put it that way. I went full fucking Comanche for like 20 minutes. I was unstoppable. That man very much so regretted his actions. And I walked myself to help, and I walked myself to a car, and then drove myself to a hospital. Now, medical care in the third world. Uh, yeah, you're probably better off not, to be honest. I don't know. It depends on where you go. That's it's all kind of a crapshoot. And as such, I think the ability to self-assess and do self-care is important. And as soon as I got out of the immediate fighting people shit, that's when I was like, okay, how badly am I shot? And I went in the bathroom, took off all my clothes, looked all over, saw exactly where I was shot, how I was shot, and assessed from my knowledge of anatomy that I was not in critical danger and that I could move and run. Okay, so for those wondering, how do you do that? Where are you shot? Are you shot in a limb? Is there a lot of blood coming out of it? Okay, well, then you're probably okay. Are you shot in an abdomen, chest, somewhere like that? Head? Okay. Is there a lot of blood coming out of it? You might be okay. You're more okay than if there was a lot of blood coming out of it, but you need immediate medical attention. Okay? I was shot through the ass. that time. I don't know why he picked there. It was a mistake. I still have a scar on my fucking ass cheek from it. If you ever meet me in person, I'll show you the fucking scar. Anyway, you take off all of your clothes because you need to make sure that that is the only thing that you got hit with. You need to know exactly how bad you are hurt. Now, once you're there, if it's bleeding and it's on a limb, pack it with gauze. If it's badly bleeding, like spurting blood, then put a tourniquet on it. If it's an abdominal wound or a chest wound, it very much depends on what's going on with you. If you can't breathe, seal that thing off and get yourself to a hospital or an ambulance quickly. You have a sucking chest wound. You can seal it off with a piece of plastic. Just hold it over it. It'll get, without that piece of plastic, you have 15 minutes to live. With the piece of plastic, you got a couple hours. Okay? And this is the kind of like medical knowledge that you need to have. I have more medical training than I have gun training. Okay? Most of what I ever learned about fucking medicine, I learned from professionals. Most of what I ever learned about guns, I learned from fucking cowboys, pirates, and shit. And, it's some pretty basic common sense shit that if you're not hitting near a fucking heart or an organ, probably okay. Okay. And that's the kind of assessment that you need to be able to make on the fly. You need to be able to decide, do I need to worry about my heart stopping or do I need to worry about that dude killing me? Okay. If it's at a point where like you need to put plastic over that wound to hit 2 hours, you do that before you kill the guy. And like, I know you're going, well, that's not an option. Well, it's not an option to fight with one lung either. You know, this is the kind of like, this isn't medicine. This is, we are keeping us in the fight until we can get help. And that's the kind of shit that you should probably carry on you. And like, that would be a chest seal, a tourniquet, a chest decompression needle, compressed gauze, and like for any sort of wound on an abdomen or a chest, when in doubt, pack it full of compressed gauze and put a piece of plastic over it. That will be better than nothing most of the time. Like it really depends on some of the wounds, but most wounds you pack with fucking compressed gauze and put a big ass piece of tape over it. And then ship them to a fucking ER. Okay? Now, you need to probably know for the end of the world, okay, so what if we're going to the ER and there is no ER? That is a whole different level of medicine that you are probably not equipped to deal with. Um, in general, my suggestion for that sort of thing is let the body heal itself and give it as much of a chance as you can to do that. And by that, I mean stay alive as long as possible. Keep blood from exiting your body. You probably will fix yourself. Your body will self repair from most things, even gunshot wounds. If you are shot and it's in a limb or something like that, it's not bleeding very bad, it's not a serious injury, what you should 100% do is flush the wound with iodine. Like I would mix iodine and water probably to do this and fucking irrigate the wound, wash all that shit out of there that you can. Um, I would put a drain in it, which is gonna suck. But a Penrose drain is a rubber tube, that you can insert through a channel, and it makes that whole thing form a scab around that and heal from the inside out. It's what you want. You can use pretty much any sort of like latex tubing for that. I would get surgical grade if you can. If you can't, I wouldn't do it. You're gonna introduce more fucking infection than you are gonna fucking prevent. Um, Other things. Uh, Lingering effects of getting shot. People will downplay the mental effects of this. It was a roller coaster ride. It was a roller coaster ride for me, and I'm used to it. Coming down off of that level of adrenaline was nothing like I'd ever felt before in my life. Like, I'm an adrenaline junkie. I like it. I didn't like this. It's, it was great while it was going on. And the after effects suck for fucking weeks, really. Years. I still deal with shit from this. And this is, the nature of having scars. You'll deal with it for the rest of your life. I hope that's what you wanted to hear about getting shot. That's what I have to say about it. My advice to you would be to not get shot in the third world. First world's much better. My advice to you, if you do get shot in the third world, would be to find medical supplies, do your own care, and get to an embassy. This is, in a nutshell, why I always carry so much first aid shit. I don't go to hospitals. I never have. Like, I've been to a hospital a number of times. People dying. Times I got shot. Don't really care for them. Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to add to this. We could talk about shooting at people, but I don't really think that's that necessary. There's other people that have talked about that. Um, my advice on shooting at people is to aim for the head and the heart. Nothing else counts. The reason I say that is because of the dude that had a Taurus bashed upside his head so many fucking times that he probably won't ever walk right again. Just because you have a gun doesn't mean that you're going to win. Just because you have a gun and you shoot me doesn't mean that you're going to win. Just because you have a gun and you inflict a mortal wound on me doesn't mean that you're going to win. The only thing that ends a fight is death. At least for some of us. For some of us, with the second you engage in combat with us, it's a fight to the death. I'm going to fight like I'm going to kill you because I'm trying to. That's what it's like getting shot. That's what it's like shooting at people. It's not over until it's over, and it's only over when one of you is dead. On that happy note, I think I'll definitely end this. Avoid gunfights. It's my advice.